recently Bernie Sanders appeared on Meet the Press, and one of the first questions that he was asked is about his oligarchy tour. And I think the host, Kristen Welker, missed something. She mentioned a New York Times article where Bernie Sanders encouraged people to run as independents. And she made it look as if it were a slight on the Democratic Party or an attempt to create a third party, etc. It was none of that. I want you to listen to what Bernie had to say about that and the Democratic Party in general, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Let's talk about what you have called your oligarchy tour. You and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have been crisscrossing the country, warning of an emerging oligarchy. Senator, you told the New York Times, I'm going to read this quote, one of the aspects of this tour is to try to rally people to get engaged in the political process and run as independents outside of the Democratic Party. As someone who twice ran in the Democratic presidential primary, are you trying to strengthen the Democratic Party? Or, Senator, are you trying to start a third party?
Now, we're not trying to start a third party. What we're trying to do is strengthen American democracy, where faith in both the Democratic and Republican parties right now is extremely low. We are living, Kristen, in the richest country in the history of the world. And yet you got one person, Mr. Musk, who owns more wealth than the bottom 53% of American households. That is insane. That is oligarchy on steroids. Meanwhile, we have 60% of our workers living paycheck to paycheck. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major nation on earth. And we have over 20% of seniors in America living on $15,000 a year or less. What the American people are saying is that they want, and what our tour was about, is to say that they want an economy that works for all of us, not just for Mr. Musk and other billionaires. Now, my concern right now is you have Democrats appropriately, and I'm working with them, talking about Trump's movement toward authoritarianism, vigorously opposing the so-called reconciliation bill to give over $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% and make massive cuts to Medicaid, nutrition, and housing, opposing what Musk is doing to dismember the Social Security Administration and the Veterans Administration, making it harder for our veterans to get decent health care or benefits on time. We're on the same page. But what Democrats lack right now is a vision for the future. How are we going to provide a decent standard of living for a younger generation, which, everything being equal, will be poorer than their parents? How do we repair a broken healthcare system? How do we raise the minimum wage to a living wage? How do we deal with a corrupt campaign finance system that allows billionaires to control both political parties? Those are some of the issues that need to be discussed. And we're going out around the country right now asking people, working people, run for office. You want to run as a Democrat? Great. You want to run as an independent? That's great. But you got to get involved in the political process, because right now the two-party system is failing the working class of this country.
Now, I hope folks listen to what Bernie had to say. You know, earlier, before this particular interview, Chuck Schumer, Senator Chuck Schumer, a minority leader in Senate, was asked if he thought, what's wrong with the Democratic Party? Is it doing what it's supposed to do, or something to that nature? And his answer was, the Democratic Party is doing just fine, and there is unity. And then he started to make mentions about all the bad things that Donald Trump is doing, and we're letting the Americans know that Donald Trump, they're doing all these bad things. And I sat there and I listened to the interview, and I waited and I waited and I waited. And the problem is, he never actually gave a vision or told what Democrats were going to do for the American people, the middle class, the working class. He never came on and gave proactive solutions to problems we know Americans have. Now, Bernie understands that the Democratic Party in many areas of this country is persona non grata. And what that means is if you want progressives to win, people who are going to go into Congress and really provide not the corporate direction, which is less taxes, less regulations, no social programs of consequence. You have to get people in there who are going to not toe that plutocratic oligarchic line. And in some areas, that may actually mean people running outside the party system. As he said, people have lost faith in the party system and more so in the Democratic Party. Not that the Democratic Party don't talk a good game, because they do. The Democratic Party has all the right words. The problem is the solutions don't seem to apply. If we take a look at what happened under Biden, how Sinema and Manchin, two Democrats, really screwed over the working class. And Manchin is from the poorest state one of the poorest states in the country. And he ensured that policies that would protect his poor, which is a large percentage of his population, they wouldn't get it. And then he had the nerve to imply that these people were lazy, or if they got assistance, they would just drink the assistance away. These are Democrats. So, people already expect bad things from Republicans. They don't expect a lot of good things, but a lot of times their vote is to stick it to those who claim they're going to do something and don't. And if you listen to what Bernie said at the end, Bernie's message is a message that working class America, that middle class America want to hear. Universal health care, child care, support for colleges, and the whole works. Have a vision, and not just a vision, but a plan for that vision as you call out Donald Trump. But don't tell folks, oh, we are on the right footing and that we have unity. That we don't. The reality is unity will come about when all of the Democratic Party truly supports the middle class, the working class, and not just sit down with a handout from the oligarchy who then gets all the favors and not solutions for those who need it most. Folks, I want you to contrast what Bernie had to say with what Chuck Schumer had to say much earlier, when, in effect, he had no solutions. This is where we got to go.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.